Hello friends, welcome back to Text Valley. So today we are going to discuss functional interface Java 8 features. So functional interface lies under the Java util function package. Okay, so what is a functional interface? So interfaces that contain only single abstract or unimplemented method. So functional interface can contain default and static methods which do have the implementation in addition to single unimplemented method. Okay, let me show you by example. Like this runnable in Java is a functional interface, but it has only one method that call run and no static and default method. Similarly, comparable is a functional interface which lies before Java 8. It also contain only one method compare to. So like comparator is an interface, one method which is unimplemented or abstract method, and rest are the static methods and default methods. So this is a functional interface. I hope now the definition is clear to you. So in my last video, like when we were implementing the lambda expression and I was telling what is the lambda expression, at that time also functional interface came into the picture. So what is the type of lambda expression? So lambda expression is the type of functional interface. So what is the major benefit of functional interface? So one of the major benefit of functional interface is we can use lambda expression to instantiate them. Let me show you by example. So as I shown you, runnable is a functional interface. So here is the implementation of runnable interface. So we are implementing as an anonymous class, and then we are overwriting its unimplemented method. So now let me change this anonymous class implementation into lambda expression implementation. So for that we have to remove this, and this also, and here we have to put lambda syntax. As it is a single line, so we also don't need curly braces. See, I have changed the anonymous class implementation into lambda expression. So this is anonymous function with lambda syntax and the statement. If you see here, this lambda expression, so this is a complete lambda expression. What is the major benefit of functional interface? To initialize the lambda expression into functional interface. So what is the type of lambda expression? So here you can see this is a lambda expression and it is initialized into functional interface. So type of lambda expression is functional interface. So I hope both the questions has been clear to you guys. Now let me execute this code and show you the result. Yeah, so here is the result. So if we go with the previous implementation, so here is the previous implementation again. I changed this anonymous class implementation into lambda expression to make you more understandable. But if you see here, like this is anonymous class implementation, we were implementing, earlier days when lambda expression was not present into Java, and nowadays we can implement this way. So it is a simple one line code. If I execute this code is also perfectly work both ways. Yeah, so both the results are here. I hope both the questions are clear to you guys. Basically, this functional programming has been introduced. Why? Because it improvises your code quality, and we can replace that 100 line of code with the 10 line of code using functional programming, and it serves the same purpose and make developer life easy. So as part of functional interface, we are going to discuss four major functional interfaces: predicate, function, supplier, and consumer. So if you guys understood the definition of these four and the implementation of all these four functional interface, so then in that case you guys would be able to implement rest of the functional interface present in the Java. Now let's move to the next slide. Why we need functional interfaces and what its benefit? The major benefit of Java 8 functional interface is that we can use Lambda expression to instantiate them and avoid using bulky anonymous class implementation. As I shown you in previous example, like runnable interface we have implemented as anonymous class first, and then I change that anonymous class implementation into Lambda expression, that single line of code. As a major benefit, so we can remove 100 line of code and can achieve the same functionality by writing 10 line of code using functional programming, Lambda expression and functional interface. So at the rate functional interface annotation is used to make interface as a functional interface. So if we want to be write our own functional interface in Java, so this annotation help us, and it tells compiler like this interface we are using as a functional interface. It is the best practice to use it with the functional interface to avoid addition of extra method accidentally. If the interface is annotated with @functional interface annotation, we try to have more than one abstract method and it throws compilation error. So compiler come to know this interface is a functional interface and cannot have more than one abstract method, and it start throwing compiler error. So these few points which you need to take care. Now we will start discussing the main 4 functional interfaces. So out of 4, the first one is predicate. So predicate is a functional interface. So represent a predicate boolean value function of one argument. So it takes one argument like it is shown here, and it perform boolean operation on top of it and return boolean value. And this functional interface whose functional method is test. So abstract method under predicate is test. So here is the implementation using the anonymous class in old days, and here is the implementation using Lambda expression. So here we are implementing the predicate functional interface. As it takes only one argument, we are telling here. So integer type argument we are passing. So here integer is we are passing, and we are checking is this integer is greater than 5. If it's true, it's return true, otherwise it returns false. Is greater than 5 we are testing, so we pass the 3 into no method or test, because test is abstract method of predicate functional interface. And if I execute this piece of code, it should return the false. Yeah, it is returning false. If I pass here 6, then it should return true. Yeah, it's returned true. I hope you guys are clear with the predicate. Predicate is a functional interface which takes single argument and returns boolean value, and it has only one unimplemented method. Its name is test. So let's move to the next functional interface, consumer functional interface. So it is a functional interface which consume single argument and returns no result. So here the consumer functional interface, this is a functional interface and can therefore be used as the sign target for Lambda expression for method reference. Okay, so it has only one unimplemented method accept and one default method, and then if we want to be and multiple consumer in single result. So let me show you the code example. So as its status, consumer interface consumes only one argument, like it is consuming string, and on top of string we are performing some operation like we are printing here, but we are not returning anything. So sometime in Java coding we have a situation where we just have to process the values and we don't return anything from the function. So in that situation we use the consumer functional interface. Same we are doing here. So we want to print any value. So whatever we write here in accept method, accept is abstract method of consumer functional interface. So whatever we write here, and I will execute. So this functional interface consume this value and finally print. So here it's printed. Okay, now let's move to the next functional interface, supplier. So as its name suggests, like supplier is just opposite to consumer. So consumer takes an argument and perform some operation on it and return nothing, but supplier takes nothing but it could return something. Supplier interface has one unimplemented abstract method, that is get. Let me show you by example also. As we can see in this example, like this supplier is returning us local date and time object, and we are passing no argument. We just calling its anonymous method, get method, and defining here, and finally it returning us local date and time. So if here we s dot get call, so get is unimplemented abstract method we are calling, and it returns the local date and time, and then we are printing this date and time here. Let me show execute this code. Yeah, here is the result. It is returning local date and time with object with time. Let's move to the final and last functional interface which we need to discuss. Function is a functional interface which take one argument and it returns some values also, and it has apply as a method, unimplemented method, abstract method, which against which we have to write the lambda expression. And if we see, it has and then method to concat the two functional interface implementation, and then apply method, then compose and identify method. These are static and default. Only one unimplemented method it has. Okay, now let me show you by a code example. Okay, here is the example of functional interface. So this functional interface taking string as an argument and returning an integer. So we are passing a string, and what it is returning? It is returning the length of string, and this lambda expression is implemented against apply method. So here we are calling this apply method with this reference, because lambda expression is initialized into this variable, and then we call apply method unimplemented or abstract method of function interface, and we are passing a string. This string goes to here to the lambda expression, and it will calculate the length and return to the length, and finally we are printing. So text query length it will print. Let me execute it. Yeah, so text value length is printed successfully. So I hope you understood all most important functional interfaces of Java 8: supplier, predicate, function, and consumer. So mostly in interviews people ask around these four, although there are a lot of functional interface in Java. So here is the list of functional interfaces which comes under Java util package. So lot of functional interfaces has been introduced into Java 8. So if we want to be perform operation more than one argument, so we can use by consumer, by predicate, rather than consumer and predicate functional interface. As per our requirement, we can implement all these functional interface against lambda expression. So thank you very much to watching this video. If you still have any comments or queries about functional interface, you can write into comment sections. I definitely come back to you. Thank you very much.